Money is a physical representation of energy expended, a tangible token exchanged for labor, time, and life force. You trade an hour of your life for a piece of paper they claim is worth that hour. Yet, this exchange is fundamentally unequal, for time itself can't be reclaimed, while currency can be conjured, devalued, or erased at will by those who control its flow. At its core, money is an intangible system of value, an agreed-upon illusion that facilitates the exchange of goods and services within society. But it is more than a medium. It is a current, a river of energy, channeled and controlled. Just as water flows downstream into riverbanks, money flows as currency into brick and mortar banks, where it is managed, manipulated, and multiplied. As Clint Richardson, author of Straw Man, observed, time is money, but God is timeless. This most important concept is the basis of all temporal affairs and concerns, for everything is valued in money, and money is merely a representation of time, future and past labor. Mammon is measured in the potential of time, while God is eternal and spiritual life is timeless. Time itself, the measure of duration, the interval between points, has been judiciously enshrined as the essence of contract in Black's Law Dictionary. This legalistic framing is humanity's attempt to control the flow of time, to render the spiritual tangible and taxable. This system is not new. Its origins stretch back to the ancient world, to Babylon and the mystery religions that underpinned its power structure. The nobility of Rome were the heirs of the Babylonian elite, and the Catholic Church, in many respects, reconstructed Christianity as a vehicle for the continuation of Mystery Babylon. The worship of the Great Mother and the God-Man, a syncretic faith married to state power. The Phoenicians, master navigators and traders, descended from the Babylonians and the Canaanites. They carried these traditions across the Mediterranean. Their elite descendants, the rulers of Venice, became the architects of modern banking. Here, the practice of creating money, ex nihilo, out of thin air, was refined. These practitioners were known as money changers, a term that reveals their true function, moving wealth from your hand to theirs. This is the ancient art of Babylonian money magic, a system of occult economics designed to concentrate power in the hands of a priesthood of financiers. By 1912, J.P. Morgan, a member of this cabal, could boldly testify before Congress, "Gold is money, everything else is credit." Today, these dark occultists are called bankers, financiers, or wealth managers, but in truth, they are murderers of economies, criminals who rob the poor to enrich themselves, using methods both ancient and newly sophisticated. And only recently are we arriving at the final magic trick, the transmutation from physical gold to the digital philosopher's stone, cryptocurrency. The same Venetian logic, control the flow, control the world, has not disappeared. It has simply evolved. What was once the ledger of the money changer is now the blockchain of the central banker. In traditional alchemy, the process begins with the prima materia, the raw base material. For centuries, that material was gold, the fixed solar metal, incorruptible, eternal, the symbol of perfection. Gold-backed economies tethered value to something real, finite, and beyond the full control of the money changers. This was a problem. Gold was too free. So the first transmutation occurred from gold to fiat. Fiat is Latin for "let it be done." It is a phrase of invocation reminiscent of the Masonic, so mote it be, or the alchemical eta Fiat. This is the mercurial phase, shifting, unstable, a bridge between the tangible and the abstract. Central banks severed the link between money and gold, most notably in the US in 1971, creating currency backed not by metal but by debt and decree. Fiat is sigil magic, symbols on paper or digits in a ledger that hold power only because people believe they do. As Congressman Wright Patman explained, the dollar represents a $1 debt to the Federal Reserve System. The Federal Reserve banks create money out of thin air to buy government bonds from the U.S. Treasury and has created out of nothing a debt which the American people are obliged to pay with interest. But this was merely preparation for the next stage, the full abstraction of value into digital currency. This is the financial philosopher's stone, not as a liberating force, but as a perfected control. In traditional alchemy, the philosopher's stone transmutes base metals to gold and grants immortality. Here, digital currency transmutes value into surveilled, programmable code. With central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, every transaction is tracked, timed, and subject to approval. The blockchain becomes a karmic ledger, a permanent and immutable record of obedience and dissent. CBDCs crystallize power in programmable form. Money becomes a pure sigil, a token encoded with the will of the technocratic priesthood. And as always, the process follows the familiar triad: problem, reaction, solution. Each financial transmutation is ushered in by ritualized crisis. The collapse of the gold standard birthed the fiat era. The 2008 crisis legitimized Bitcoin and blockchain. Today, economic instability is the final push for CBDCs, the ultimate philosopher's stone of financial control. This mirrors initiatory rights. The old system is destabilized. The individual is stripped of prior certainty, and a new identity, a new currency is offered. The alchemical stages are clear: gold to fiat, calcination and dissolution, the burning away of tangible backing. Fiat to digital, coagulation, crystallization into a new digital form. Digital to AI integrated currency, multiplication and projection, the expansion of perfected control over the masses. Once money is fully digital, the technocratic elite can create or erase value with a keystroke. They can incentivize compliance, punish dissent, and ensure total dependence. Traditional alchemy sought to turn matter into spirit. Digital alchemy seeks to turn spirit into data. So where do crypto bros fit in? They are what they, or the hierarchy enslaving you, call useful idiots. This is not because they're stupid, many are brilliant, but because they've accepted a digital form of value that exists entirely within the very architecture of surveillance they believe they're escaping. Cryptocurrency is the most sophisticated psychological operation in human history. The architects of the system foresaw the eventual flight from fiat. They knew inflation would spur a search for alternatives, so they created one, a seemingly revolutionary asset designed to absorb discontent in capital without threatening the underlying power structure. Crypto is not rebellion, it is rebellious theater. We must recall their motto: you'll own nothing and you will be happy. Every dollar converted into crypto is a bullet wasted in the fight against the central banking cartel. They don't fear digital speculators. They fear those who stack gold, hold silver, acquire farmland, and secure tangible resources. They fear sovereignty. Crypto does not opt you out of the system. It unplugs you deeper into the matrix. The only true opt-out is through commodities, through the acquisition of what is real, physical, and enduring: land, precious metals, energy resources, things that can't be devalued by keystrokes or erased by algorithms. Reject the digital substitute. Embrace real value. Choose genuine sovereignty. In a world of synthetic value, the only real wealth is what can't be digitized, tokenized, or tracked.